Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Here For It Live. I am here with Lisa from Ella Go, and I have not seen Lisa in probably years, it feels like. But
Yeah.
It has probably actually been a year.
Yep.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I mean, when we met, it was we were doing the podcast and it was during the pandemic. And then so many things, so many connections were made after that.
Stop it. Wait, seriously?
Yeah,
Oh, well, that's the purpose of Palette, right? To connect, to
exactly.
collaborate, to advance. So first of all, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who you are, what you're all about? I mean, these things I already know. I feel like I could be like a poster child for you, but you go ahead and tell everybody who you are.
Okay, so my name is Lisa. I am a running coach, life coach, wellness coach, and I own my own business, Ella Go. And I also have a podcast, and the podcast is about empowering women through fitness and health and everything in between. In fact, that's what really Ella Go is all about. It's empowering women through fitness and health and everything in between. Now, the in between part is like all the mental health crap, all the stuff that we deal with on a daily basis as women and we don't always talk about. So I talk about things that people don't feel comfortable always talking about, and I keep it real. That's pretty much it.
I mean, and I think that's why we get along so well.
I know.
We both go there and we both are honest with everyone and very transparent about just how much stuff that we're managing.
Yep.
And how, like, it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, like, I can do it all. I totally can, but it's really not best to do it all alone. And you need to solicit help. You need to ask for help. You need to advocate for yourself. And when you can't advocate for yourself, you need to surround yourself with people who are going to call you out on that and advocate for you. Because you can. So I'm so excited to have you here. And I also want you to kind of talk about, well, first of all, your hair looks awesome. You did something.
Yeah, I cut. So for those of you who don't know me, my hair was literally all curls down to my waist. But so I call that the pandemic hair because I never had a chance to cut it. And I've always cut it. Catherine, I don't think you ever seen me with short hair, but I've done even the shaved in the back. I've done like tons of things. I get bored easily, I guess you could say. So I needed a cut to start anew. Now that people are going out more often, I needed to start fresh. So I chopped it off.
I love it. It looks great.
Thank you.
I did the same recently. It's like pulled back right now, but it was pink. It was like shoulder length, and I just cut it all off. And there's something about that makes you just feel like, okay, I'm back.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at myself, and I hope I'm not stuck in that position.
No, you're not.
Oh, okay.
It's on my side.
Okay.
And tech troubles happen. That's why I'm really excited. In our new space in Palette, we're going to have actual studio set, so we can start doing these events in real life, like Here For It now, in the physical together. And so I can like hug you, dance with you. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
Me too. I can't wait to see that.
So tell us how you got started as a running coach. I would imagine it's because you started running yourself, right? And you felt like, okay, I could do this for.
Yeah. So the story is, and like Catherine said, I'm very authentic. I keep it real. And the reason being is not to say, hey, everyone, look at me, look what I can do. It was more like, you know what? I used to be the type of person who really cared what people thought. And I didn't want to share. I didn't want people to know. I didn't even want people to know my parents were getting divorced. Like, I was embarrassed. And I got to the point where, it is a lot of energy to hold things in. That takes a lot of work, like being someone you're not and like not speaking your truth. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what? This is me. Take it or leave it. If you don't like me, then you don't need to be in my space. So I started really sharing a lot about my experiences being a single mom and going through a divorce. My journey, what brought me into running, running was hit and miss with me. Never was a runner. I just never was. And running became my mental health outlet during my divorce because I had so much bottled in. And for those of you who've been through this journey, you lose friends, you lose people. It's like you have a disease, like no one wants to catch it. Um, so I started sharing my story, and my running journey, started with that because it was a release, a sense of release, because it was all kept inside and didn't really get to share it with people because I lost a lot of friends. And then it's just I started posting about it, and people are like, "Oh my God," because they know Lisa runner, like they know that's not me, and um, people start saying, "Oh, can you train me?" And I'm like, "Wow, I never thought anyone would ever ask me to do that." So I became a running coach. I went through the course, became certified, and then Ella Go. God, Catherine. Ella Go has been through so many transformations. I mean, talk about reinventing yourself like 100 times. And when you start a business, you think, "Oh, this is it. This is the business, right?" It just evolves. And I'm happy that I was open for it to evolve, because at first it was like a nutrition business, then a nutrition running coaching business. Now, with becoming a certified life coach, it's now a podcast, it's a life coaching, it's a running life coaching business. It's about empowering women. So, it totally has evolved, through the years. But that was it in a nutshell as far as my running journey goes.
Yeah, well, I just think it's so impressive for you to put yourself out there, and I think for me, it helps me to see other moms out there doing whatever it is they want to do, right? Like at the end of the day, like we only have one life to live. Why not get out there and share our wisdom or experiences with the world, and let them learn from us, and vice versa. Like I can't constantly say this. I'm never going to stop learning. I'm never going to stop growing as a person. And the only way in which to do that is to continue to change and continue to evolve, and surround yourself with people who are going to pull that out of you. And that's what coaching does, right? I mean, I think that was like another big revelation I had, like just in the palette process, right? Like meeting people who were so advanced in their career and their life, and it seems like they got it all. They've got all the things. They've got they go on vacation all the time. They have this flexible lifestyle company, and it just seems so easy, right? And then you get to know them, and you're like, wait a minute, you do not have it all figured out either. You have a coach. You have somebody that's helping with figuring the next steps out, and it's just so cool to be surrounded with people who are in that constant ambitious and constant evolution of who they are and what they're working on. And I can't even remember, and I don't know if this maybe you take this as an insult, but I can't even remember what Ella Go was named before was Ella Go.
Maybe that's a good thing.
I just think it goes to show, like, and you are so consistent, so I feel like that's important to point out. Like, you can change and you can continue to consistently evolve as a brand and as a person. And as long as you consistently put yourself out there and you're constantly showing up, people are evolving with you.
Yeah. So it started with not your average mother runner.
Right. Okay. Now, yes.
Not another mother runner, and there was a lot of trademarking issues with that. So because my name is trademarked, and I went through that process. So now it's Ella Go, and that was actually really hard. Like, talk about depression and your identity. Like, who would have thought that? Like, with a business name, like, really? Like, why would that, bring you down? But because it was my identity. I was not your average mother runner,
Yeah.
and now I had to change my name. And Ella Go was, talk about coaching. I have a business coach. I'm a coach, but I have someone helping me too. And she said, "Why don't you pick a name that has to do with, who you are, and maybe something with your daughter?" So, Ella is my daughter's Bella. So it's Ella. And then Go is the last two letters of my last name. But I'm also Spanish. So Ella go is she goes. So, there's two ways that you can see that. But it took a while to fall in love with that name. And now I can't even think, Catherine. I can't even think what I was before either. That's why when you said that, I was like, I don't take it into offense. I mean, that's actually good. Like I did good, right? Then now that you only see me as Ella Go.
Yeah, yeah, and I love it. So tell us how you took the leap from running, and you haven't deviated from running. You're still that it's still a thing, but you're getting more into life coaching. And for me, I am a proponent of, like, it's not until you commit to evolving as a person and a human that you're ever going to be able to advance your career or your business or get the salary raise or negotiate a job, or start a business. It's like you need that mindset, you need that confidence, you need that emotional intelligence to be able to show up professionally, and be able to connect the dots and make the leap and keep going. So tell us how that evolved.
So, I have a master's degree in counseling psychology. I was doing it for a little bit before I left that. And that's something, that kind of training never leaves you. One thing is when you're going through that process and having to help other people, you yourself is transforming. So that's why it'll always stay with me. And I've always used it. So in my coaching, you know, it's not just about, oh, I want to run, oh, I want to lose weight. There's a component that people don't always talk about, and it's that mental health space, that mindset, that emotional space. Because what's going to keep you going to do those things? There's got to be a why. Well, what's the why? Where is it coming from? That emotional, wound that you might have. I'm not good enough. All of those things come into play when we want to run. By the way, I focus mostly on beginner runners because I was a beginner runner. So, why do you even want to run? Because I never thought I could do that. I don't have a lot of confidence in myself. And the weight loss is the same, the same thing. Why do you want to lose weight? What do you think you're going to gain? You're going to be happy? Like, let's be happy now. So even through the coaching, I was doing that. And I thought to myself, this goes hand in hand. Why not study this a little bit further so then I could have some credibility to not only be a certified running coach, but also be a certified life coach. And they, hands down, even though you don't want to, you could say, well, I'm just going to focus on running. Hands down, it'll always surface. It'll always surface. Why don't you want to run today? I'm not feeling like it. Why? What's going on? There's always something else going on that's going to either open up the path to get to your goals or close it up. So that's kind of how it's evolved, and that's how I integrate it. And I love doing both, and why not?
Yeah, well, and why not you? I think that's the other piece of it, is like so many women think, oh, that's something like, oh, or like, for example, like somebody told me this the other day. I was like, that's you, Catherine. You like to get out there. You like to be doing all these things, and I just want to support you. And it's like, I would love the support, but you need to do this for you. You need to get out there. You have something to share with the world. You have experiences that I don't have. I mean, I can only amplify you so much, right? You got to get on camera. You got to talk it out. And it's so rewarding to hear feedback from people who are like, wow, that was the first time I did that. That was so amazing. I felt, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, so I think we both need the accountability, right? To get out there and do it. And I just think, why not you?
Yeah. And it's funny, you said something. You said, you're consistent and you show up. So, I'm going to be very authentic right now and vulnerable, because I just moved, and you know how stressful moving is, right? Okay. So I'm moving, single mommy it, work a full-time job, work the side hustle. I was like, I'm done, right? But I still had my coaching business. I still had those ladies that relied on me. But I was like, ladies, I'm telling you, I'm on the struggle bus right now. Like, I'm hurting, but I'm still showing up for my runs. I'm still going to show up for you ladies, but as we're running, hell's yeah, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to
Yeah.
vent. I'm going to be honest about it. And even with social media, because a lot of people are like, where have you been? Where are you? I'm taking a break and I'm doing some self-care, okay? Because I cannot do it all. Sorry, cannot. So, being being vulnerable like that and showing that, hey, you are a human being as well, like you said, it tells everybody else, like, okay, I don't have to do it all. Like, she's taking a break, I can take a break. So that's kind of where I am right now with my running group. I'm slowly coming out of it. But I'm keeping it honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of like, and I have like ample examples of this, right? Where I was like looking to somebody as an example, and then you get to know them, and they're like, wow, you really like either you do have your boundaries set and you say no, and I think like, oh my God, she's not saying no. I shouldn't say no, so it goes both ways. And then there are other times where you see people who just aren't honest about how much help they have. I mean, I'll never forget
Mm-hmm.
a women's conference and I was listening to this woman up on stage, CEO, multi-million dollar company, talking about all the things, and she's a working mom, and she's and I was in line to go speak to her right after, because I was young. I was like younger. I was like not pregnant yet for Zia. So I was just in the beginning stages of like having this like palette concept come into my head. And I was just so excited to be introduced to this woman who like is doing it. She's got multiple kids. She's got seemingly she's talking about how happy she is in her marriage. Her business is doing great. She raised all this money. And I'm like up in line, first in line. I got to talk to this lady. Like, how the hell is she doing this? And she literally was like, I have tons of help. I don't clean my house. I don't watch my kids. I don't pick up my kids from school. I don't drop them off at school. I'm happy in my marriage, but I never see my husband. I'm working all the time. And yeah, you got to get help. And she like hightailed it out of there. I mean, I definitely like triggered something in her. She was like not having it. But I was like, oh my God, that's not like, why didn't she share that on stage? You know what I'm saying? Why didn't she share all the help that she has, and it really did help me remind myself that Beyonce has help. You know what I'm saying? Like, this woman has help, and yes, she can afford it, and she can, she's so much more advanced than me, so she can afford to hire all this help. But you know what? I can afford to hire somebody to help me around, help me with certain things. There are some things that I am just should not be doing, right? Like, I should never manage my website. It will crash tomorrow, I don't do any of the palette social media, we would have zero engagement. Like, there are things that I am not an expert in and I should not be doing. Those are the things that you should outsource. And I think, but back to my point is like, be honest about what you're not doing, because I think young girls, again, like I have 3 daughters, you have 1 daughter, right? I don't want them to see me pretending like I've got it all together. I'm doing all of this shit on my own, because it's just and it's like an expectation that we're building up in our daughters that is unrealistic and it's not attainable.
Yeah, and I love that you just said that. We're not super, I mean, yes, we're super women, we're superwoman, but superwoman also takes the cape off once in a while, okay? And she gets help. But it's that whole idea of comparing yourself. So even as like a business owner, I know you could probably resonate with this. And there was this time where I actually started feeling a little bit down on myself because I was comparing myself to somebody else, right? I was seeing how they were like killing it, and then they announced that they're leaving their job, and I'm like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I do that? And I was so angry with myself. And I had a friend that said to me, she said, Lisa, is she a single mom? I said, no. Is she doing exactly what you're doing? I said, no. She goes, then you can't compare yourself to her. There's no way. Now, if she was a single mom and she was doing the same thing you do, instead of hating on her, learn from her. Find out how she's doing that so that you can learn and do it yourself.
Yeah.
It's, being honest with yourself as well, and not having to feel like you have to compare yourself to other people. And it's your journey. Like, if you think about all the crap you had to deal with, it made you who you are today. It made you the successful woman that you are today because you went through all of those things and just staying on that path. But I know I digress. I could be talking about this like forever.
I know we both can. We both can. I mean, I think the other thing that I remind myself of is like, because I have that shit too, where I'm like, look at, social media is such a death trap, like comparing to other people and like, what are they doing? And anyway, it's a rabbit hole of destruction. And so now I like catch myself and I'm like, you know what? How about I compare myself? I go back to my old me, right? And I look at my memories and I compare myself to the older version of myself.
Yeah.
And I do this a lot, like in communicating. Like the old me would not have stood up for that, would not have let that happen, and or the old me would have like said no. No, I'm not gonna do a thing that is not gonna serve me. It's just gonna add stress. And for what? To prove to somebody that I can do it all? It's baloney.
Right.
So I think like that's just like one trick that I've like learned in the years, just to like stop consuming other people's stuff. Go back through your own stuff and reflect on where you've come, or where you've come from.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I do that even with the running with the ladies, okay? Because these are women who are new to running. They either never ran before, or they were, running when they were younger, and now it's a whole nother level when you're running as you get older. And the comparison to the other women who are runners and then putting themselves down, there's that mental piece too. There's that emotional piece. You stay on, you stay in your own lane, you stay in your journey. You cannot compare that woman who has been running for a longer time than you have. First of all, and like you said, where were you 7 weeks ago? Nothing. You couldn't even run a mile. Look at you now. So it's, again, the life coaching with the running, it how can it not go hand in hand? And I love doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and then like the other thing that I have to like clarify too. I mean, it just acknowledge how intimidating it is,
Yes.
to sign up for that race. And then even if you've been training and you've been consistently showing up for your runs and practicing and all that kind of stuff, then you get to the day of the race and you're like, oh God, this girl's got all the gear on and she's got the and I'm like wearing my like old high school gym shorts and like is not, like the wick material. And I'm just like you have that sense of like, am I about to do this? Now, for me, this was the New York City Marathon that I had 6 months before and had it run for like years. I had like a 1-year-old, and I had the audacity to sign myself up for the New York City Marathon and to raise money to run, because I certainly didn't qualify. And I will never forget. I mean, there were some inconsistencies with the running, but it was like very therapeutic to get out there by myself. And I didn't have a coach, and I didn't have a community around me to really help with that. That was before Palette. And I just like, it was really important for me. I was like, what I was listening to during that time was why can't I think of like how is there like a I don't know if there's a podcast, whatever. Anyway, the name of the podcast was Life is a Marathon. And it was like loosely a running podcast, but a lot of mindset. And it was all about interviewing people who are like professional runners or athletes and Ironman people and Iron Woman people, and like just hearing their stories. And it was just like, that is what kept me running. Literally, that's what kept me running, because I would listen to these podcasts. And it's so true how it goes hand in hand. And then you do still, even on the final day, when you're like, okay, I'm about to embark on this marathon or 5K, right? Or any like race that you're signed up for, you're going to feel like a little intimidation and imposter syndrome. Like, what am I, who do I think?
Yes. I love that you said that, because you're right. Running is hard ass. Okay. That is hard. Okay. This is not like you're just doing, something, I don't want to say simpler, because everything could be a challenge for anybody, but I mean, you are pounding the pavement. Okay. So I almost feel like if a woman is able to do something that challenging and overcome it, shit's gonna come her way, and she's be like, excuse me, I just did a 5K that I never was able to do. I can handle this, right? because you're going to be able to, if you could physically push yourself, you're also mentally pushing yourself, and it's teaching you that you have the capability just to do anything. And that imposter syndrome, yes, I get that all the time. Like I even, and it always happens. I'm telling you, it always happens at a certain time through the training. And I will say, ladies, I'm going to tell you right now, you are probably all second guessing yourselves. You're probably thinking, how the hell am I doing it? And probably some of you are thinking of quitting. And I can't tell you how many will say, how'd you know? Because this is the time when you start doing it. You start,
Yeah.
it's like that halfway mark where you're like, could I do this? Am I really doing this? I'm really going to be doing this race that I never done before. But yes, just to remind them that where were you before, not able to do this, and look at where you are now. So I love that you mentioned that.
Yeah, and then the importance of like why you're doing it. Like, I mean, the
Exactly.
marathon thing, I was proving. I mean, and I wish that I was just proving to myself. Unfortunately, I was proving to other people that I could actually do this thing. And I don't even. Those people were not like anyone specific. It was just them. Those
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna show them. I don't know. It's like me against the world, you know. But it's what I needed to kind of like continue to go. And it's not a coincidence that most high performing athletes are very successful in business and very successful in life. It's because it's the mindset thing. Like they just go after it,
Yeah.
and they don't go after it alone. Which is why my segue back to you and back to Palette, how it's just like if you're feeling a calling to do something, you are capable of doing it, and finding
Mm-hmm.
people is not as difficult as it seems. We're here.
Right.
We're here
Yep.
for it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, what else is next? I know that you like. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you, contact you? I know you do Saturday running groups, right? On
Yep.
Saturday mornings.
Yep. Yeah. So right now we did a 5K and a half. I say we, me and my virtual assistant. That's the team. Um, right now we have a half marathon training, and we just finished the 5K training. So after that happens, and we do it on the every Saturday, we do runs, and then we do like a live coaching every week. And then in the fall, I'm going to start focusing more on life coaching. But now some of the ladies have had that taste of both. Some of them want to continue doing that. There's a lot that I want to do. Hopefully, there's a lot that I've yet to meet up with a couple of the people in your side of the fence, that hopefully do a collaboration that has to do with running. So lots of things to come. I'm really excited, and yeah, and I did mean it when I said I've met a lot of people. The pandemic and you meeting you, Palette, and a lot of women that are members, it has brought me, it's like, you meet somebody that introduces you to somebody that it's like boom, boom, boom. And isn't that what network is, right?
Yeah.
So, it's just, I mean it when I said that I did meet so many people and still meeting people. But going back to what you asked me, where can you find me? You can find me on Instagram. I love doing reels. You'll see me with my reels on Instagram at Ella __ go. I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I also have a website, www.ellago.com. I'm on TikTok.
Love it. I love it.
So
She's everywhere and she's here for it. So I
yes,
love that you show up. I think it's the most amazing thing to see you doing it, and it's inspired me. It encourages me to keep doing it. So thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, we need to get together soon in
I
real
know.
life. When the
I
set
know.
we'll do like an in-person one.
Listen, I cannot wait. Every time I see you guys doing something, I was like, I need to be there. So yes, it's gonna happen. It's
But
definitely gonna happen.
also that this is what it's about though, right? Like you can't always be everywhere, right? So like it's
Mm-hmm.
important to have people who are going to connect you with people that we meet, that we know, like just have to meet you and work with you. So and that's what Palette's all about, like
Yeah.
connecting and
Yep.
helping people help more people advance. I stole that one from Dr. Ashstruck, and I'm never gonna stop stealing it. It's brilliant. He's another member. Shout out to Dr. Ashstruck. And that's another person you should definitely connect with, because so many things align there. He's a coach, you're a coach, he's a psychiatrist.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Anyway, it was so great to see you. I have to jump, and you have to jump, and we'll see each other again soon. And anytime anybody wants to connect with Lisa, I'm your girl. I will reach out to her, connect the two of you. She's amazing. She's awesome. She's been a member for Palette from like forever now. And yeah, I'll see you again soon.
All right. Thank you.